you don't really have many moments when you sort of just sit back and take it all in.
I guess we're doing it now.
Yeah. Award-winning and platinum-selling producers.
Rudimental came out of all that, really, that's culture of producing pirate radio.
From pirate radio to working with heroes like Nas and Todd Edwards and growing up in 90s Hackney.
You can get a little bit lost in it at times and like it almost becomes like it's work. And in this last album, I think a lot of it's been working with people that we're super comfortable with and just having fun with it again, you know.
Moments in music.
Welcome to Moments in Music, a podcast from Defected Records where we get to know our guests through the music that defines them. And today's guests are two members of one of the UK's leading dance bands, award-winning and platinum-selling producers, Rudimental. Please welcome to the podcast, Kesi and Piers. Hi guys.
Hello.
Yo.
You good?
Yeah,
real good.
Wicked.
Really good.
I just heard you've had the bacon sandwich of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise that you could, like, I didn't even know what focaccia is, but apparently if you put bacon in focaccia with lettuce and tomato, it'll blow your head off.
It's a madness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The East End has changed a lot.
Yeah, I can't believe we're saying this, but yeah.
Thanks for coming down. I feel like I haven't seen you and I always kind of see you passing at festivals.
Yeah, in around.
I think the last time I saw you was in, I think it was like Cardiff or something random like that.
Yeah, Worst Project, or yeah.
It's always in pass. I'm always like, hey, see you in a year or something at the next one.
Yeah.
But what have you guys been up to? What's been going on in the Rudimental household?
We've been making the album. We've been making our 5th album.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, we've really, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, like, talking about focaccias and my 5th album. Like, it's mad. Like, you know, we've done like 12, 13 years now, like, sort of since the first album dropped, and it's been a wild journey. Like, It's been amazing, and I still really enjoy making music with this guy. You know, and the other, and Lockie, and just I really, this 5th album is great because it's kind of really like us going back to our kind of like drum and bass, like sort of up tempo stuff as well. So it's quite focused. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey for you guys. I mean, 5 albums in 10, 13 years is a lot of music to put out. I remember, your first record, I remember you playing it at Annie Mac's rave at Coco, and it just going off. And everyone was just like, wow, this is something really special here.
Yeah, that was the Radio 1 weekend day, wasn't it? Wow, when Jay-Z did the headline, the Hackney Marshes.
That was the first time we sort of played records from there. It was that was our like first ever live show, because we were sort of producers and DJs beforehand, and then Radio 1 was like, oh yeah, we want to book you for Radio 1 Weekender, and we was like, cool. And then it was like 2 weeks away from the show, and it was like, we want it live. We was like, live? We've never done live before. So we basically had to like get all our friends together that were musicians along with us on stage and just like get rehearsing solid for 2 weeks and just put on this live show that we'd never tried out before.
There's people on stage.
And there was
people on stage.
He was like, please just come on stage.
But then I think Feel the Love had just gone #1, was it? Like a week before? Yeah. It was around the same time. So like, it wasn't performing to no one. There was about 8,000 people there on our first ever show. So it was it was like pretty insane to get our heads around it. And we sort of came off stage. The crowd was loving it, and we was all just sort of silent for the next half an hour, contemplating what's just happened. So
and then when they did that, it's mad you mentioned that, because that after party at Coco with Annie Mac, that was the after, So we just literally played the live show, and then we're DJing to like a packed out Coco before Annie Mac. Disclosure were there.
And then Annie Mac had a tour as well, didn't she?
She had a tour. We all went on a tour with Red Light, Disclosure.
Was it Scully? Was it Scream?
Magnetic Man,
and us, all on the Annie Mac Presents tour.
That is trouble. To be honest, that is a one-way ticket to trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we really like on that tour gelled. Obviously, like made friends with a lot of them, like Guy and Ollie and and Benga and everyone, like, and it was, and artwork, like, it was such a good, because I was a big fan of Magnetic, man. Like, at that time, like, they were like, kind of, I'd be in, well, a year before that, I'd be in Matter, you know, like
God, Matter,
yeah, the whole dubstep thing, you know, happened, and I was like there, like, loving it. So that was a big thing for me, like, and even Annie Mac, like, being such a big radio DJ and giving us that kind of love, and the whole of Radio 1, they really, like, Zane Lowe, like, they all really loved the record, and like, I felt like we were part of, maybe, like, there was this whole producer-artist thing, like Magnetic Man were producers, Disclosure were producers, we were producers, and it was like the kind of, at that time, you know, the kind of birth of, like, the producer band in some ways, like, and Radio 1 and Annie Mac, like, you know, and Zane Lowe, I've got so much love for them lot, because they really, like, championed us, and gave us the platform.
Yeah. And when you think about that sort of first live show and think, you know, what's happened over the last 10 years, do you ever get a moment to stop and sort of contemplate what's happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's because we're still sort of we're still going full throttle. Yeah. It's like you don't really have many moments when you sort of just sit back and take it all in.
I guess we're doing it now.
Yeah.
But then you have random moments where, like, a snowbombing festival, you just skied down the mountain to a stage and you just sit back and have a pint and you're just looking around and you're like, wow, like, this is beautiful, and like, we've got here through music. Do you know what I mean? You have them random moments, but
I always think, like, I have those moments too still, and I'm just like, what a silly job. What a, like, mad silly job we have. This is incredible, like, when you stop and pause. Let's talk about your roots and you coming back to your roots for your 5th album. Piers, I'm going to come to you first. Ready or Not, this record.
Yeah, like, I feel like that record was such a pinpoint in the 90s for me. That album, the score, the DJ Hype remix of Ready or Not as well, you know, jungle music, and just like, it just that record puts me back. I still play that remix on some of our DJ sets, but it puts me back into, like, being, I can't remember how old I was, like, it was like 98 or 1998, 1997.
Secondary school time, wasn't it?
It's not even, was it secondary school? It was, yeah, actually, it was like year 7, year 8. And I was like, I had a really small pool table, got given to me for my birthday or whatever, and that, me and my mate, like, there was no space. You know when, like, it's so dumb, but like you're trying to play pool, but the wall's there. And you're like, and I just remember having that.
You can screw the cue.
Take it off.
Yeah. Like, there's no space in my bedroom. Like, I had that, and I think by that point I hadn't had decks. I didn't even have decks on vinyl yet. It was just like the tape, the tape of the score. And I was playing that album on repeat. It's the only album really in my life that I've known every lyric to. Like, and it was like that moment where I was like, this is just everything for me. Like, that album, playing pool with my mates. And I think it probably, like, inspired me to then be like, okay, what is producing? Like, what is sampling? Like, what is, like, you know, like, I'm probably, you know, like, hip hop, like, and the kind of inspiration to, like, just, I think, to love music. I never loved an album like I loved that album. Like, it was just a big record for me in my life.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite albums too, and I always have memories of, like, driving around in my mum's car with a tape, and, like, whenever it came to the swear words, either starting a conversation or turning it down to talk to my mum, because she always used to kick off when there's, and then they had that whole skit in the Chinese fast food shop, didn't they? Whenever that used to come, I was like, oh no. But yeah,
and talk us about you both grew up in London. Talk us about the sort of music scene. I mean, I wasn't say scene, obviously you were kids, but like how that had an impact on you in your local area, and you know, it's not far from here really.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, even like that era in the 90s, you know, like, we grew up in Hackney. Like, Cool FM was around the corner from me. My dad was a heavy junglist, like, he used to go to all the raves, and like he was always telling me about Cool FM. We'd have Cool FM on in the house, and you know, like he had one Scottish mate who was like a vinyl collector, and she would always show me all the bangers, like, and she gave me like the Terrorists, you know, Shy FX, and like she gave me all these like big vinyls, and then there was like Mystic FM, and there was Deja Vu, and then Rinse FM, and then the whole grime thing. That was kind of my teenage years. But, you know, it was such a culture and a scene of like amazing music. It wasn't like I wasn't on like the radio, like listening to mainstream radio. It was like the pirate radio thing was just the best thing in the world, because you could just hear things that you know, that it was you were part of something. It was like the cult's the wrong word, but it was you were part of a movement. Do you know what I mean? And I love that about growing up in London. I think I would never have probably like we wouldn't have made Rudimental, and I probably wouldn't have even like got into music, because we used to even just like press vinyl. We used to make beats, put it on vinyl, hand the vinyl, go to Rhythm Division, try and give the vinyls to Wiley or Dizzy or whoever, you know, and we were part of all that, and I think like it kind of made me want, maybe Rudimental came out of all that, really, that's culture of producing pirate radio, and then it's kind of not really there anymore. You know, it's like it was a 90s and noughties thing, happened in the 90s. And you know, people blew off it. Like people became huge off it. I guess it's YouTube now. Yeah. So like it's just it was a mad time to grow up in.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's just having the freedom, because like we got a set on Deja Vu. I can't even remember what year it was, but just having the freedom to like be at home making our music at home, and then come in and play it on radio. You've got a direct line to the audience where like they'll tell you to put it up, you know what I mean? We're just testing new tunes.
Pick up DJ Frisky, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Deja Vu, you know, like Sting. because and Sting, like them days were, you know, proper like authentic radio days, and that, and they kind of, you could make a beat, make a song, get a singer, we'd write a song, you know, we'd even get and play it on the radio. And
you'd know you got your set on Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, like, all right, let me make something fresh to play on the Friday. And it's it'd be great to sort of get that energy back in this day. I don't even know what it looks like, but I'm sure it is there.
I say YouTube, but it's like it's TikTok, I guess, like, but like it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not as, you know, we weren't, you know, them days, I don't want to sound like that old uncle.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Yeah. But we weren't like on our phone creating content. That's like, it was actually focused on like creating the music and playing the music, and then you'd have like, it was a mad, you know, you'd have callers that would call up, and like you'd have this relationship with a couple callers on the phone on the 5110s, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not having to go to this new generation, you know, because it's like, you know, it's a whole different thing. It's amazing, like, you know, in some ways, like you kind of discover things the same way, but it's just different. Like I'll discover a tune on Instagram.
Yeah.
The same way I'll discover, I guess, a tune on pirate radio.
Yeah.
But it's just it's like, can you imagine like picking the person in the 90s up and saying, look, this is 2024.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, the world is like, the community is so much bigger now, right? Because of the internet. It's not just like East London or South London or West London or just London in general. It's just, it's huge. It's endless.
It's the world. It's straight into the world.
It's the world. You're just plugged into the world. Yeah. And like, I agree with you. I feel, I saw the sort of back end of pirate radio. So when I joined Rinse, it was still pirate, and I was kind of the last, I guess, like generation to see that transition, I guess. But I just feel so thankful that I was part of it.
Same. That's what I feel. Yeah. I feel so grateful that I had not only like vinyl acetate, but like I was able to experience such a great community of music lovers. Yeah. And like in that way. Yeah. You know, and I feel like, you know, I always say to my mum and dad, I'm annoyed that I wasn't raving in the 70s. You lot are lucky. You lot had Bob Marley, like my dad was like Rolling Stones, Bob Marley, James Brown, like Jimi Hendrix, all these, like you had all that music like come at you, like, and then you were in the clubs, like raving to it. Well, not raving, not clubs, but you were in the dances, you know, like dancing. Yeah. So they had that, and they're very lucky, you know. And I guess that's what I feel. I feel lucky that we had that experience, because it probably was never going to happen again. You know?
Yeah, and of, like, you know, the internet is amazing for so many things, for so many reasons, for so many people. It allows people to reach communities that otherwise they wouldn't be able to reach. But I think what I loved about that era was that, like, it felt so close. Like, it was on your doorstep. You know, you could reach and you could touch it. And talking about having a relationship with the listeners on Pirate, like, I remember going from Rinse to Radio 1, and I found it so hard to communicate, because I was now communicating nationwide. Whereas before, my links were literally like out to Steve in his van. Like, that was it. Do you know what I mean? This one's that, the next one's this, whatever. But yeah, that era was so almost like quite analog, I guess.
And
special.
Steve in his van was probably a real person. Do you know what I mean?
Steve in his van was a real person.
Rachel, that was always looked at. Do you know what I mean? You had these people that was always locked in every time.
At the odd party, I've always done that joke where I've really mash up, and I've got on the mic and I've turned the music down, and I've gone, can the person with the green Peugeot, can they just move it? It's blocking Bob. You know what I mean? Like I just pretend like I'm on Pirate Radio. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's just like, "What are you doing?"
It
like,
never goes down well. But he's persistent. He keeps going with it until people start to laugh.
I like the commitment, though.
Yeah.
So that era, now we've gone full circle, if you like, 10 years later. Music's got faster, the last sort of out of lockdown. And you're seeing a lot of, like, 90s influence now with producers.
Yeah.
So much.
I've recently discovered this word called interpolation. Right?
Tell me more.
It's a bit like focaccia. Yeah. Like, you know, interpolation, like, there's Bear, which is basically a cover, rework of like, you know, there's so much, and we've done it ourselves. We've got it on the new record. We've been doing Natalie Imbruglia Torn drum and bass, like, we did it on the last record, like, but like, it's everywhere now. That 90s thing is just everywhere. Like, reworking edits. A lot of DJs do edits, and then some people just make songs out of them, and it's great, to be honest, because it's like it was such a sick era of music. The songs were so good. So I think people and the kids, like if you're 20 years old now, unless your mum and dad pushed it on you, or your sisters or whatever, you have no idea about that song. So
yeah, I randomly, like, I rarely do this, but I went to listen to, like, the top 10 the other day just to see what was going on. I was like, all these songs are from the 90s and from the 2000s. What's going on?
That's it.
I was talking to someone about it, and it was sort of like an interesting take in that the reason that these things comes in cycles is because the generation that is now making music, essentially,
the kids of the
exactly
past. That's it.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a 30-year cycle?
Yeah.
That
so now we're hearing,
yeah,
I guess, what we kind of grew up with.
And even in the songwriting, like, I feel like you can hear it. Like, you can hear it in the way people, like, write music. It's like that's what they grew up on. That's like they're drawing from that experience. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And so, how has been the writing process for this 5th album? Now you've, like, gone back to where you started, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, I think along the way, like 4 albums deep, 5 albums, now the 5th album, you can get a little bit lost in it at times, and like it almost becomes like it's work. And in this last album, I think it's just been, a lot of it's been working with people that we're super comfortable with and just having fun with it again, you know, forgetting like the pressure of trying to write a hit single or anything, just literally having fun writing with people that we've worked with for years, and just getting the feeling back.
It's nice to have a focused album. Like, we're focusing on a sound, and we're doing that for this album, you know. And, like, you know, it's amazing. We've got, like, some Todd Edwards Shermanology collabs out on Defected last week, and a few more coming, and we're doing those movements. But for this record, it's way more focused on, like, drum and bass up tempo, but also just like it's nice to be able to do that and create, like, a sound, you know, throughout the album, like a coherent album. I feel like in the past, especially on like you know, like being on major labels, like we've delved into the pop world and produced amazing pop songs, which I'm not like, you know, I love them. Like these days, like my kids love it. I still get messages from like, you know, like people that how much that record means to them, and it's like it was a big record for us. But I feel like at the moment in our careers now, it's just about maybe like doing a bit more or what we want, you know, and not maybe not like moving in, not doing what the labels want.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think that's like a testament to your work, is that you can maneuver between this sort of pop world and, you know, what you guys grew up with and your roots and things like that. And that must be like a really nice place to come back to and have the freedom to do that.
No, definitely. It feels good. It feels quite free. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, as Piers was saying, having a focused D&B album, but then also doing house tracks on the side feels really nice as well, because it just gives you a much more, you know where you're going with everything, and you just feel like, okay, the album's this, we're going to be touring this kind of sound on a live set for next year. The house stuff, we can do separate events where we play house only, and it just feels like what we've always wanted to do in a way.
Yeah.
Because we've always, I mean, a lot of the time we've gone to sets, we've gone through like hip-hop, D&B, house, all in one set, and it's like you only have an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and trying to fit everything in. So it's quite nice to be able to be like separate it in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe like we can do a focus house set at this event, we can do a focus D&B set at this event.
Yeah.
We haven't really had that in the 12 years that we've been playing.
Yeah.
So I think that as well is making us feel a lot more excited about the year coming up and releasing that album.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think when you make music and when you're very much known for, I don't know, a specific genre, if you like, obviously that's what people like expect to see you play when you turn up. But like, I absolutely guarantee if anyone was to like pick up your Spotify or your Spotify or my Spotify, and like it's all over the place.
Oh yeah.
I was
completely.
I've got a funny story. I was in Eastern Europe somewhere, and I had like I started with house, and I had this guy, like white guy with dreadlocks, centre with his finger up, just like until I played drum and bass, and then he put his finger. As soon as I played drum and bass, he put his hand down. But he was the way he just stood there still, like, you know. And I was laughing. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep playing house just to annoy you, because I knew that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, we've always loved. We love all music. Like you can't tell me. Like, I think a lot of people like this, but I mean, obviously, like I've had periods where, like, when I was 16, I was grime, and I was like secretly into blues and jazz and soul music, but I was grime, like, and that was my thing, you know. And then, like, I think when you get older, especially in my 20s, I was just like, wow, music is just sick. Like, I just love everything. Like just give me a good song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all that I need is something that makes me want to move, or something that gets my heart, my gut.
Let's talk about a house record. Dennis Ferrer. Talk us through this one.
Oh man,
Mind Your Step.
What a legend! What a song! I can't tell you. As a producer, I think he's the one person that's like I've respected over the years so much, because he doesn't drop a lot of songs. Firstly, he just drops one tune every 2 years or 60 or 12 months or whatever it is, yeah, and it bangs, and it's the best song you've heard produced, the best produced song with the best vocal you've ever heard for the last 2 years. And he comes and just tells everyone, just stop what you're doing, right? Quit. Like, that's the way he makes me feel. Like, when I listened to it, I was just like, that's it, I'm done. I can't, like, because it's just so good.
Yeah.
That tune.
Yeah, Mind Your Step's an amazing track. Just takes you on a journey. It's just like beautiful, quirky vocal comes in, and then when it builds and builds, and then everything drops out into that bass line, it's like you just, wherever you are, you just lose yourself in that song at that moment, and then the kick comes in, and it's like
boom,
two
boom,
drops.
boom,
and
boom, 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 boom.
Special.
Like, it's naughty,
Special.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, how do you? I love it. His brain is mad, because he's just I think he's a genius. Like, honestly, and like all of his other tunes, but yeah, that tune particularly, like, it's a winner, and
I think even like growing up in Hackney and East London, his produced tracks, whatever they were, seemed to work in every environment. You go to an R&B and hip hop rave, and then he'll play a little bit of house, and he'll play some of his tunes, and it still worked. It just seemed to cut through everywhere.
He's a proper legend, yeah.
Amazing.
Have
DJ
you have you got in the studio with him before?
No. But I've met him.
You can make an official call out now.
Yeah. No, that would be special. That'd be special.
Yeah,
we'd love to.
I met him at a Defected event actually, when he played Printworks.
Yeah,
and that was nice. Simon introduced me to him, and it was like, it was just, you know, his energy's great on stage as well.
Yeah,
like he's a proper good DJ, proper sick DJ. So
it must be nice to be able to release like so little music and just you know, it's gonna pop.
That's it. I really respect that about him. You know, he definitely hasn't put out a bad song. You know, it just comes with the heat every now and again. You know it's coming. It's like the whole house world stops. Like Dennis is dropping a record. You hear Dennis's record. It's like
your like writing process for an album, for example. Obviously, on an album, there's anywhere from 8 to 10 to possibly more records. How many records are you making?
Oh, probably like 100. No, like 50 to 100 per album, I'd say. And it's not like full-on records.
Yeah,
some of these are ideas, but all like mostly ideas with vocals. There's tons that we go through.
Yeah.
And I guess like if we're not on tour, we pretty much treat it like Monday to Friday we're in the studio writing ideas.
Right.
So a lot of the way we work, we sort of jam out lots of ideas, and then we choose the best songs and revisit them and sort of home in on the production on them. It's quite rare that we sort of have a day and have a finished sounding track from start to finish, like in one day.
Okay.
A lot of the time we just get great songs and then we sort of revisit it. One of us might take it away, bring it back to the others, and we all sort of chip in and stuff. So yeah, we have tons and tons of songs, and that's another reason why we're like excited to do a lot of house releases on the side of the D&B stuff, because we've got so many amazing vocals that like just work so well over house music. So yeah, there's tons of ideas per album, really.
Yeah, I was going to say you must have so much like heat just sitting.
Yeah,
so many ideas. I think that, you know, like it would be great. I was chatting to my friend, like being able to like play, like we should do like days where artists just play stuff off their hard drive to fans, like, or to people. I'd go to like you know, if Dennis was doing like I'm playing stuff off my hard drive, like, you know what I mean? I'd go like, so it is a lot of ideas there, and that's what's hard about making the album, because it's like trying to filter through all the stuff and put something together.
Yeah, that would be quite a cool concept actually, wouldn't it? If you got like a group of fans, played your hard drive music, and then you were like, which one would you want to see released, or
that's it,
whatever.
Well, yeah, me and a few friends are actually talking about it and making an event out of it.
Yeah.
But I've got an album to finish.
Yeah.
So like, you guys,
maybe next year.
If you need us to come in and like lead the event, we're with you. But let me finish this album first.
Yeah. And what will the live show look like post album?
Well, we're doing like a DJ show this year mainly, and we've got new visuals and new music, and just sort of focusing on that. 3 of us going back to back, basically like 6 decks, 2 mixers, which we haven't ever done before.
6 decks.
Yeah, like
Rowdy.
literally two A9s, or is it A9s? And yeah, two decks each. Like, so we're just working on that at the moment. And we've got a couple of live shows this year, but we're sort of, like, depending on when we put out the album, we will do a live, I'm sure we'll do like the live tour at some point, but yeah, like probably next year at some point, do like a proper tour. I guess like even after COVID, like the touring's not quite the same. And like our 4th album, we just did 1 show because all the venues were fully booked. We couldn't even tour Europe. So now I think we're kind of back to normal. So now when we put out an album, in theory, we could tour it properly. But
still not quite back to normal with Brexit and
I don't know. Like it's not
a live show. There's nearly 10 of us on stage, 5, 6, 7 crew.
Yeah, we don't make
like we turn up to airport with nearly 20 people, and trying to get around Europe and different visas and stuff is it's not like how
if
it
you're
used
Coldplay,
to be.
it's all right. But like for the rest of us, like. So, but you know, this year we're just I mean, right now I can't see past the next 2 weeks finishing the album. But
Yeah.
How have you seen touring changed in the last sort of, apart from it being difficult sort of with a big group, but I also like venues and stuff? I feel like venues, you know, there's a real lack of venues now, especially here in London.
Yeah, like, it feels like they're all struggling, and it feels like the culture's maybe shifted towards festivals. Like people go out less and save for festivals. I don't know. Like I saw someone talk about this the other day, and you know, the nightclub is kind of dying, and I feel like it is. Like, you know, obviously Fabrics had its troubles, but you know, that's still going. You know, and I think a lot of places, like, it is hard to stay there like for years, because you've got to, like, I guess you've got to reinvent yourself as well. Like, kids move on and get jobs. I feel like people move on as well, so like it's hard to like be consistent in this day and age with like the cost of living crisis and like venue. Like it's tough, and I don't want to see like nightclubs go or venues, because I think that they're a really important part of our culture, you know, like growing up.
Well, I just can't imagine dance music without those small
exactly.
venues.
Doesn't really they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like festivals are cool, and the dance tent at a festival is important.
Yeah.
But like venues, and clubs, like it's kind of where would we be like without going to your first rave at 16?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's where you like.
Or 18.
It's also like where you hone your like skills before you play, or for you guys, you know, just play in front of 8,000 people. First time's fine.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like, you know, where you hone your, you know, your skills and stuff. I know
Definitely.
Plastic People down the road, which is RIP, was the place that I spent every Thursday.
Yeah, it's funny. I never actually went there.
Did you not go? Oh my days!
But I never went Plastic People.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard so much about it.
I've got a tattoo on my leg.
Yeah. It was such a thing. Like, it was such an important part of, like, I guess, dubstep and like, but just even just like dance music at that time.
Yeah, it was just like a mad place, because, you know,
it was small, wasn't it?
Capacity was like 100 people.
Yeah.
Everyone knew each other.
Post Plastic People, I've been in like some bar now.
Oh, is it?
It's some like posh bar.
Yeah, bacon for catches.
Espresso martinis and that. You know what I mean? You catch me in there. Yeah.
It was a crazy place, and like you couldn't really see like past the smoke, because everyone was still like smoking in there and stuff. And you'd turn up and like Skepta would be there, or Benji B would be there. Like, you know, I saw Skrillex hanging around in there once, like just in the corner, kind of like checking out what was going on in London. And it was just a place that you discovered people and saw people, and everyone knew each other, and it was just
I don't know if there's any small places like that. Like
this is, well, I just don't know if there isn't, or I'm just old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe there is.
I'm hoping we're just old. I'm hoping that. I don't know,
I mean, you can't really Fabric is a big venue, it's a big club, it's like an institution that's but like a small place. You know what I mean? Like intimate, where you can like, I have no idea.
There must be.
It probably is, and they just don't realise what it is yet.
Yeah.
And then years
that's
to come, they'll look back and be like,
exactly.
This is where we used to go.
Yeah, because we never knew at the time how important
it wasn't
that
a
place
thing
was.
At the time,
Yeah. It was just a place that you'd hang out with your mates and have fun.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Todd The God.
Yeah.
You've got a record with him.
Yeah. This is a bit of a bucket list thing for me, really. Like growing up, you know, like my sister was a garage head, and she would always teach me the garage, you know, her friends, and then like Todd. Just like, I just remember being in that like late 90s period where he had, or like early, it was late 90s, but like he hadn't DJ'd yet. No one no one could put a face to the name. No one really had even seen his face. So he was like this kind of, that's why I think people called him Todd The God, because he was such a great producer. No one had heard people cut up vocals like that, or reverse vocals. No one has ever done that. So like it knocked everyone off their like, knocked their heads off. And I remember the talk, and then he eventually did that gig in Romford and that. But like to me, he was this kind of like, I guess like the like to UK, for me, like, I don't know, like Dre, Ferrer, like them producers, they're the iconic producers, and that's what he was to me growing up. Shy FX, like there's a few people that were just like, they made songs that changed cultures. And I think that's what he created this hybrid of garage house that no one had ever like, because there was obviously garage and then there was house music from America. And he kind of blended it all without realising it.
I was going to say, but the maddest thing is he had no idea.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, he had no idea he was doing this thing over here.
No idea. And this is the maddest thing. And I bought, like, As I Am, like, as a record for me, it's one of the best records I've ever heard. Like, the way it moves, because I love jazz music, I love chord progressions. You know, I'm a keyboard player, so, like, the way that moved, like around the chords and the cuts, the vocals and the bass lines, it's just like perfect production for me. Like, As I Am, Todd Edwards, like, and I bought it on Locked On. I bought the vinyl. I had a belt drive deck, right? Wasn't old enough to go to the raves at that point, because I bought it a few years after it had come out, like, you know, on Locked On, and I was just like, that memory of playing them records in my bedroom, and then eventually I would play it out in clubs, but like, it was just incredible tune. And then now we're making a song with him. Like, we linked up with him in LA. I swear we wrote the song with Shermanology at our place. Yeah. We were in LA, and through a friend I linked up with him. And like, literally I gave him the vocals and I watched him do it. Like, and I watched him cut it all up. And he's got this, like, obviously modern way of doing it. And I was like, how did you, I was like a little geek. I was like, how did you do it in the 90s? Like, what did you, so you went in the sampler and then, like, because even then, like, in the 90s, how they did it, like, with the Akai samplers and all that.
Yeah.
And that's like, for me, because I started on laptops pretty much. I started on computers. So, like, I was asking him all about that. And he's such a lovely guy. Yeah. And then we made such a great tune. And now we're doing back-to-backs with him at Glastonbury and obviously at Ocean Wire for Defected, with Shermanology.
And it's almost like going back to Deja Vu and being on Pirate. Because he was in LA, made the tune with him, played it on the weekend. Like, it gave us that energy. And we had a back-to-back with him in LA. So it, like, took us back to that 18-year-old energy, which we haven't had since being in LA. Yeah. So it's like, it was a proper, like, beautiful moment to have.
Yeah. To watch him at work must have been
that's
crazy.
Like, you know, I'm trying to, like, you know, like, go back to my 16-year-old self, 18-year-old. If you would have told me then that you're going to be in LA, I mean, I hadn't even gone past, like, France at that point. You know, I hadn't travelled like far further than Europe, and it's like, you're going to be in LA hanging out with Todd, making the record and watching him do that. I would have been like, go away, like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and those are also the moments where you think about your job and your work and you're like, what? This is mad.
I feel so, it's funny. Like, that moment was probably one of my best moments in the whole 13 years. Probably up there with playing to 10, 50,000 people for me. Just being in a room with my childhood kind of idol, and I feel like I guess the best way to describe it is, like, I felt like I'm where I'm meant to be.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that's when you do have those moments as well. Because another one was in New York in the studio with Nas, and it was like
casual.
Yeah, like, hip hop was huge for me in secondary school, and Nas was my favorite rapper.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was like all Nas's albums and the score, they were like my main thing in school. And to be in New York, I think it was Jungle Studios, and it's like, Nas is coming in. It was just like, what is going on?
What did you even do with yourself?
We went through, like, playing some tracks to him. He ended up doing a remix for us of Free on one of the tracks from my first album.
Yeah.
So he jumped on a remix, and he didn't actually cut it on that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went. I think we was on. We left. He came to that day. Heard some music. Sort of went away. Took some bits. Wrote to the remix, and then he sent it to us when we was on tour in Australia. I remember being on the tour bus in Australia, and we're like, "No, it's just sent through his verse." Like,
I remember exactly where I was.
What is going on?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
how did that come about? Was that just done through sort of your label?
Yeah, the labels kind of linked us up. Our manager kind of knew Nas's manager. Actually, it was our manager. Yeah, he knew Nas's manager and was like, "Look, let's." And like, not like, you know, Nas was obviously, like, gave us the time and like did the remix, and it was amazing. It was one of those childhood
moments,
childhood like, bucket
list. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because it's not like, you know, people think it would be like, I know, your biggest selling record or getting an award or but it's just like these really small, I mean, they're not small moments, they're huge moments, but like these very like personal moments.
That's it, yeah. Like I'll go back through my Instagram and look at a picture of Nas and just like smile to myself at like stupid moments in the airport waiting for something. I just look back and just have a little, someone look at me like, what are you smiling at? I'm just like, nothing.
If you're having a bad day, that's your go-to photo. Yeah. So yeah, like you mentioned, new record with Todd Edwards and Shermanology.
Yeah.
You're playing with him this summer. Also, just for reference, the rave in Romford that we were talking about, if you haven't seen it, watch it on YouTube. It's amazing. He comes to the UK. Watch. He has no idea how wanted or how big he is, and he plays this rave and everyone's going mental, and he's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then someone tries to get him to do a rewind, he doesn't know what it is.
He doesn't even know what it is. And there's all these like Essex boys, East London. I know where it is. Where's the club? There's a club. Is it Romford?
Yeah, I think it's in Romford.
Yeah, so there's like loads of like, and it's just crazy. It's like you can see that they're just loving it. It's mad.
And what these back-to-backs? What are they going to be about? What's the energy going to be about? What are they going to be for you personally? Like, how would you approach that, like going into a set with the legend, or are you just going to free flow it?
Well, we kind of did it in LA already, so we've warmed up a bit.
That's a starting point.
Yeah. And I probably did about 2 hours prep before, maybe longer. I was like, searching for like interesting music that like to try, not to even just impress him, but like, because I know he's going to come. Todd will come with his knowledge of music over the years of house and garage is like. And I've seen him quite a few times, so like I was so nervous actually for that back to back in. It was my friend's birthday. He just invited us in LA, and I was really nervous. It was like weirdly one of the most nervous I've been for, and I probably will be for this back to back. A little bit nervous, but yeah, just there's a lot of great new garage. Like there's a lot of like Salute, Sammy Verge. There's a lot of incredible kids coming through.
Yeah.
Which I love a lot of their tunes. So it will be a mixture of old, new. We've got a lot of unreleased stuff that we'll play as well. So it will be like a fun moment for me, like to really sort of show that side to us, because House and Garage has been a important part of our journey.
Yeah, and Glastonbury Ushuaia, is that right?
Glastonbury Saturday night at the Stonebridge.
That's just with Todd Edwards.
That's just with Todd.
And then
the Tuesday after Glastonbury.
Yeah.
No,
I'm leaving Glastonbury. I'm leaving Glastonbury Sunday night. I'm getting out there Sunday night.
Yeah.
Rest Monday, and then Ushuaia Tuesday with Shermanology and Todd Edwards. Shermanology as well, like great producers, like and singers and
songwriters.
Working with them has been amazing. Writing, we've got some more songs coming out on Defected with them as well. I'm sure he's gonna they're gonna be coming with the fire. So it'll be interesting. I'm like freeway back to back. It's just always gonna be. You got to keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. Well, you guys are used to it back to back all the time, I guess, but maybe slightly different. But I love back to back, especially it's just mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you've got nowhere. You can prepare, and everyone does, of course, but you've no idea where it's going.
You make that playlist, and then someone will go somewhere, and you're like, okay. Okay, I got something for you.
Yeah. It is just like an onward battle, isn't it? Like a friendly one. But we did one at Glasgow. Me, Sam Divine, and Melee went back to back.
Oh, nice.
And then, like, Chrissy would just like pull out like an old garage tune, and me and Sam would look at each other and be like, right, we're going.
That's it. You got.
But they're so fun, and the off the cuff, like unexpected records that get pulled out are like. That's the reason why you do back to backs, right?
Yeah.
In a weird way, I might compare that a little bit to how Rudimental make music.
Okay.
Because there's three of us, and it's like you'll go one way with something, and someone else will put a different spin. You're like, It takes you to a whole new place from where it started. And when you hear the original demo, you're like, how have we got here?
Yeah. But that's so fun, exciting.
But it's a great place we've ended up.
Yeah. I love that. I personally love lots of people in the studio when making music, because I find sometimes it can just get like so locked in with one idea.
Yeah.
But you need like a fresh perspective always.
Yeah,
it's good, yeah.
But when there's three of you, always it must just be like a sixth form like common room. Do you know what I mean?
Pretty much is.
Pretty much. Plus a singer, plus a songwriter, engineer. It's good.
Where's Lockie today? Is he playing golf?
I think he is actually on
this
the golf
boy
course.
is always
he's
obsessed
addicted to golf now.
Yeah,
but he's getting really good at it.
Really good.
So,
he's getting very good. I hadn't seen him in for a few years. I think last time I saw you guys, and then I was on a golf course and I saw him there. I was like, what are you doing?
As well?
I've started playing golf,
Nice.
yeah. But I was like, what, of all the places to bump into you, like, what is going on? And he's just like, I'm banging into it, I'm obsessed.
He's properly obsessed.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
It's much better than I am. Yeah. All right, Jazztronic. Who chose this one?
Yeah, I chose this one.
Let's go.
I think I heard it on the first time on Deja.
Yeah.
I can't remember who played it, but it's just like one of the most special tunes I think I've ever heard, even to this day. I never get bored of that song. And I think coming from like growing up, my mum used to take me to piano lessons from like 6 years old till about 12, and I hated piano because it was classical and there's no freedom to it, and then but I had the sort of skills to play a bit and like produce and do my own thing. And then I remember hearing Jazztronic, that record, and hearing that piano riff. And to this day, I don't think I've heard a better piano riff than that riff. Like, it is so special. I don't know how he thought of that piano riff. I don't know what was going through his mind. But so just a beautiful track. And yeah,
it's one of them tunes. It's a bit like Todd Edwards, like just some guy from Japan, just like some virtuoso.
Yeah,
made a tune.
To be fair, I think he was actually a classical pianist. Like,
I'm saying, he's a proper pianist. And he's made a tune, and like, you will find that tune in like a UK funky rave, or you'll find it even now. Someone will play it like in a house, maybe in a house, Gary, I don't know, but like there'll be a moment where you can find someone will still play it and it will shut down the place, and it's just like incredible piece of music. I think, like it's a proper performance.
Oh yeah, and there's a live version of it on YouTube that I've probably watched about 1,000 times. Him sitting down at the piano, and then me as a 16-year-old trying to copy it.
But I think that's where like some of the most iconic sort of records come from. It's just unexpected, isn't it? Like Todd Edwards is a good example again. Like this guy from New Jersey having an impact on a culture that he's never been a part of. But it's just like having again that fresh perspective or something sounding a little bit different. That's what catches your ear. And
definitely. And I mean, I haven't looked into it fully, but he must have collabed with somebody on that. Surely he can't have done that record by himself, because a lot of his other music sounds nothing like it. So I need to actually do my research and see who else was on that.
Yeah. When was the first time you heard this record? You said you were like 16.
I think it was on Deja. That's a great thing about pirate radio. You just hear tunes out of nowhere that sounded so different to everything else that was on there at the time.
Yeah.
But you'd have the hood, like that gangsters like dancing to that.
This is what was
this is a virtuoso classical pianist from Japan.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like this was a big record in.
Yeah, it made no sense. Like, like deep in Hackney, it used to be very different to how it is now.
Yeah.
I was probably in like one of the worst schools in the country, and like that tune in my school just meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah,
and it's like, how? What?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, because it's not like it went off on TikTok and everyone saw it there. Or it was just it was so different to everything else.
Yeah.
But it was almost like undeniable that you like it. Like you can't dislike the song, and it just seemed to travel and just did bits. Whenever somebody played it, it sort of went off. Yeah,
and sometimes the songs just do that. There's a breakthrough, all cultures, all races, all like whatever, and you have like someone from Cambridge love it and someone from Hackney love it, and then both dance in a rave together. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's beautiful for me about music, and it's just like there's nothing else that can really have that power over like humans.
Yeah, I'd love to like have almost like a family tree of how that record came about here, as in like where did it, how did it end up here? How did it?
That's a good. You know what?
Yeah, I would love to.
Because you've got in the Defected thing, they've got that really interesting like thing. We should do that for Jazztronic Samurai. We should make a tree chart.
I don't know what the technical
and sell it online.
Sorry.
You know what? We should try and find him and hit him up and collab with him.
Yeah. That would be amazing. Imagine the story.
No, I think let's do that.
Right, if you guys do it, I want to hear all about it. Right, you can't leave me out of this.
Just get him on the next album. Let's 100%.
Do it. The last record that you've chosen, it's a joint choice. Louie Vega and the Martinez brothers. Louie Vega has come up a lot when people have been choosing records, and understandably so. Yeah,
well, I came in late with the Louie Vega thing. Like my friend Max, like he's been talking about Louie Vega for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew Masters of Work, but I didn't even know he was in Masters of Work. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know the Kenny Dope. I didn't even know that was them. Like, and then obviously, like the last few years, we made friends with Martinez brothers out in Ibiza and made some music with Martinez brothers.
We dropped an EP with them.
And they're amazing producers and good guys, and they invited us. So the story behind this record is like they invited us to DC10. DC10, the DC10 days.
Yeah.
Right. And it was their mum and dad were in there coming to visit them and watching their whole set, and they played this whole set all night long at DC10. They did a lot of funk, soul and disco. It was one of the most incredible sets I've ever experienced from them. And their mum and maybe it's because their mum and dad were in the house, and they were playing a lot of New York disco and that, kind of playing to them a little bit, but it was incredible. Obviously edits for days, what they're like. And then they just made this tune. They just made Let It Go, like a few months ago. It was fresh, and I was mash up, and it was 6 a.m. When does DC10 finish?
Yeah, it's like
it's around that time, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was probably like 5:55.
Sun's up.
Sun's up. Yeah, and I'm in the. I'm actually in the crowd. Earlier on, they played our collab, and we were like loving it. But I'm in the crowd, and then I'm like, "What is this?" I've left the crowd. I've like barged past people to get to the booth. Right, I've gone to the booth, and I've done that really annoying thing. I probably got away with it because obviously like we were friends. But like, I've gone up to the record, the deck, and I've gone, Chris, what is this? Like, what are you doing here? Like, it was just such a beautiful moment for me that I was just like, this record is everything I love about music, like jazz progressions, like the Louie Vega kind of style of it's got a Latin influence to it. It's got a sick vocal, really sexy kind of great vocal. So yeah, I just remember that as like a moment for me, like, and this is later on. This is only a few years ago. And when did that record come out? Like 3-4 years ago. But what a great link up.
Amazing link up.
What a brilliant record. I think that really, I love house music like that, like soulful house music for me, is just brilliant. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it was very mash up, and it was like 4 days. It was the fourth day we'd been in Ibiza for 4 days.
Yeah, that soulful sound. I mean, one sick link up, like you said, because it's like multi-generational. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but two, that sort of Latin, like smooth, like sexy house music, just can't create it as well as those guys.
No,
like it's impossible. I was talking to Roger Sanchez on this podcast about it, and he was just like, it's because we're a product of our environment. It's like, our environment, London. It's like. That's our environment, it's very different, and that's sick. But like, when you get in the studio and like, right, I want to make something like this, it's just like, it's not even close. Like,
no, it's not. And even like with Martinez brothers, you see them on the drums and stuff. They're all like sick instrumentalists, and making an EP with them was pretty special. They came down to Shoreditch, to our studio in Shoreditch, and we just did like 2-3 days. We did like 4 or 5 tracks together. Yeah, just put it out, and it was quite a spiritual moment. It's just like, you know, when you get in with certain people and it feels like you've known them for years. That's how it felt with them. Everything was very sort of free flowing. There was no, it was just it was really, such fun working with them.
Really, really good producers, like the you know, both really good musicians. Like Steve, like a sick drummer. He was on the drums, you know what I mean? Like, and it was such a great session. And yeah, you know, I think that record it's probably be like that type of record in 20 years' time. We'll probably look back and be like, yeah, that was a big record. Like, you know, it's just gonna stand the test of time.
And we are very excited to have you in Ibiza this year. You spoke a little bit about that sort of moment. What is your kind of like? I feel like everyone has an Ibiza moment for the first time. You're just like, oh my god, this place is amazing. What was yours?
I don't know how PC I can be here, but we went out there from day like 18 with I mean, like early days. Probably went out there like, I think I got robbed.
Is that your Ibiza moment?
Like I was in the we were in Soul City in the Strip, you know, like as young kids.
Yeah.
So like
our Ibiza journey's changed a lot.
This is not the Focaccia days. Yeah?
You've worked hard for the Focaccia days.
But I think it probably I think being in DC, like space, like, you know, space, like as a club, wow. Like in the early days, like not in the early days, but you know, like I'd say what the 2010s, 11s, 9s. There were some amazing moments, like seeing Carl Cox and like having those like moments, like inspiring me to want to be there. And then like a few years later, I'm in getting booked and playing in space, you know. So yeah, DC10 still one of my favourite.
Yeah, I think it's probably DC10 that sort of when I had that like one of them nights that change your life and you're just like, all right, yeah. I'm here the whole night. Because I didn't used to be one of those people that could do the whole, like, go out at 11 and stay till 7. Or keep going throughout the day. Yeah. And then a night in DC10 just changed my life.
If you're going to do it anywhere, it's probably going to
sound system's so good there, though. I think what made that club so good is the sound system just really hits you in your gut. Yeah. The level of sub they've got there. Something about that room which really creates a good...
There's some sweet spots in the club. Like you have to know the nice corners to go to get the perfect sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I the first couple of times I went to Ibiza was like one summer, and the first time I went was to play, and it was really in and out, and it was like in San An. And I remember just being like, wasn't able to make it to other clubs yet, and it was just like in, play, show, out, and I just remember thinking, I don't quite get it yet. I feel like I haven't experienced this yet. Yeah. And then the third time I went was the first time I went with Radio 1. Yeah. And we had Radio 1 in like Pasha, I think, or something like that, years ago. Yeah. And we watched Sasha play and Pete Tong. And then afterwards, at about 6 a.m, we all drove to the beach, and we were all my mates were jumping off the cliff into the sea, and the sun was coming up. And just about as I was about to jump in the sea, I turned around to my mate and I was like, babe, I think I'm about to have my Ibiza moment. And then I just jumped into the sea and I was like, right, I'm back to my Ibiza moment. That was amazing.
I mean, at 11 a.m. in a pool with your mates, you know, like, it's the best thing. It's just like, I was chatting to my mate the other day about, you go therapy, you can do all this therapy, and therapy is great and all that, but there's something about being in a pool with your mates listening to music. It's therapeutic, you know.
On a unicorn. Inflatable unicorn.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in. It's been like
a
real pleasure to talk to you, and really lovely seeing you again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Really inspiring hearing the last sort of 10, 13 years, because I feel like that Hackney weekend / show at Coco was literally yesterday.
Yeah. No, I can remember it like yesterday. Yeah. I appreciate it. It's been a journey.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing the album. I look forward to seeing more of you, it seems like. I'm going to see more of you this summer at Defected Raves, which is exciting. And yeah, everyone listen to the record, Shermanology and Todd Edwards, because it's a banger.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Moments in music.